Hello and welcome back to the Across the Pod NFL podcast for another team's season preview. And this time, our team is the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I am, as ever, your host, Annie Davis. With me, I've got a returning guest. Came on for last season's podcast preview. It's Chiefs fan Brad Symcox. Brad, how are you?
I'm very, very good, mate. Very, very good. These off seasons are getting shorter, aren't they?
I felt like the last one went quicker. I found the Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers stuff just made it go ridiculously quick. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
still very quick. It does get quicker every year. But I did feel last summer's was probably more quicker. I'd say.
Yeah, feels like it, doesn't it? Feels like it. But yeah, I was just getting shorter every season. It seems at the minute. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's amazing that for yourself, your team season's getting longer each year. With the success your team's having. But yet it seems going quicker. It seems crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I still can't believe we're at this stage now. I know I keep saying it to everyone I speak about when I talk about the Chiefs or anything, and I just think that seeing the Chiefs win 3 Super Bowls in my lifetime now seems as really surreal. It seems as though it's gone so quick. And when you look back at it, it's probably about 7 or 8 years where we've suddenly become this team. And being the whipping boys for so many years, and here we are. It feels surreal that we've now witnessed 3 Super Bowl wins. And 4 Super Bowls we've been in as well. So it's very surreal. Very surreal.
Yeah, and as a fan of a team who I've never yet seen us win a playoff game, I look on with incredible envy.
Do you know what? It is a very odd feeling. I was talking to somebody who's a UK Chiefs fan recently, and we were saying that we're almost getting this feeling of almost like what Patriots fans have had, where it's almost like an inevitability. I know it sounds cocky to say that, but you do feel like that there isn't that much excitement going into a season anymore. It's the excitement builds when obviously it's getting into the further into the actual playoffs and stuff, which I never had that feeling before, and now I'm feeling it a little bit this time, and I don't know how to handle it. It's very odd. So if there's any Patriots fans listening, please give me some advice to handle this very strange feeling I'm getting at the minute, where I'm just thinking, it's just a season.
Yeah, it's almost like your season really is almost the playoffs. Like anything
Yeah.
especially with how like the Patriots teams in there for years, a very easy division. Like it's I think you probably have it's the most obvious out of the 8 divisions. I think your one's the most obvious one you're going to win because the Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos are nowhere. The Raiders, Chargers, Broncos are nowhere near the level you
Mm.
guys are at the moment. So I think in terms of the division, you're going to once again ease to the playoffs, and even if at worst it'll be a 12-10 win season as a wildcard team. It's incredibly, must be an amazing position to be in, and and I'm sure all other 31 fan bases are looking to be where you are one day and hope that their team can lift it. And obviously, law of averages suggests that it won't go on forever. The Patriots fans are realizing this now, but he's got to enjoy while he can, haven't he? He's got to really enjoy it while he can, especially in the NFL. You just don't know when that window will end.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, I know a lot of the teams in the AFC West at the moment are really trying to find that blueprint to beat the Chiefs, and the Raiders could probably argue that they've probably found that after beating us at Christmas. And now we've got Jim Harbaugh's come into the into the AFC West. It's going to be a bit more challenging this time, I think, and we were expecting that a little bit more when when obviously the Broncos brought in Wilson as the quarterback, and we expected a bit more of a battle then as well, and obviously it never materialized. But there will be a time. There will be a time where the Chiefs will be toppled, and I think Mahomes has to probably go through some of that adversity at some point in his career. He can't keep winning every year, can he? That's the thing. But it has had a few little trip ups now and again. Obviously, they've been very few, but I think the AFC West at some point will almost unlock the Chiefs in some way. Whether that becomes when Travis Kelce retires or something, because he's probably only got another couple of seasons in him, especially after signing his new deal. I think it takes him to the next 2 years. So there will come a time, and hopefully it's not yet. Touch wood. We continue and obviously grab that three-peat at some point. But yeah, we are very much the team with the targets on our back at the minute, and I'm here for it. I'm really here for it. But there is a lot of hate towards Chiefs at the minute, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was like that until you sign Rashee Rice. But I think it's just it goes the territory of being a good team. It goes for any sport. I remember back in the day hating Roger Federer, and I'm thinking now, why the hell did I hate him? Because he's so so likable. He's not dislikable anyway. And I remember, I obviously any sport that goes for, I don't like it when the same team wins again and again. That's why for me, my perfect Super Bowl is my team's not involved. Is two teams that never won it before because you're guaranteed a new winner, and that's what I love. But yeah, it's definitely harder to like the Chiefs at the moment than maybe when Mahomes first came to the league because they were brand new, they were fresh, still are, but they were back then exciting to watch. But now it is getting boring seeing them win year after year. But I'm sure you don't care about that.
I don't at the minute. I did care about it when the Patriots were winning it all the time, and I was getting very, very sick of Tom Brady winning it. But I think it's obviously very different when it's your team, and you're seeing the success that we never expected we'd get this success or this level of success. Yeah, it's just it is a magical time. We're definitely living in our golden era as Chiefs fans. Will it ever get any better than this? I very much doubt it. How many teams have been able to go for a three-peat and have the best player in their team in the league? Well, arguably, we would say the best player in the team, but obviously the top 100 doesn't reflect that, does it? Congratulations to Tyreek Hill there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But yeah, it is a very it's very strange because I think a lot of Chiefs fans have always been almost like they felt like they were the likable fan base for a lot of years because we were never any good. We were back in obviously the 60s, late 60s, but between the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, we were just not any good at all. And we were always like, oh, they're nice, the Chiefs fans. They're a very likable fan base. Now, man, we're getting a lot of hate right now, but we're lapping it up. We're actually dealing with that. We're handling that okay. So Patriots fans, we got that covered. We know how to handle that. But it's just this seasonal thing that we're just thinking, it's just another season. It does sound cocky, and I am coming across as very cocky here. So apologies to the listeners. I'm not normally like that in real life. But I think when your team is so good and doing what they've been doing recently, it's hard. It's hard not to be overconfident and very cocky about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be in the same situation. I'm sure I'd be if the Dolphins started winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And yeah, I don't blame you at all, if I'm honest. Very much, understandable. I mean, if you can't be overconfident at this point in the Chiefs' history, when can you be as a fan? So yeah, make the most. Just really enjoy it. Moving on now, we'll go on to the ins and outs of the off season. So the main outs include the likes of Willie Gay, Jack McKinnon, Donovan Smith, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Nick Allegretti, as well as other players, less known players such as Jody Fortson and Bladen Gabbert. The ins include Carson Wentz, Cornell Powell, Marquise Brown, my personal favourite, Louis Rees-Zammit. And then trade-wise, you did also lose the Jarvis Sneed Rivio trade with the Titans. In the draft, you took Xavier Worthy, 28th overall receiver out of Texas, as well as in the second round, Kingsley Suamatia, offensive tackle out of BYU. And then other ones include the likes of tight end Jared Wiley, safety Jaden Hicks in the fourth round, Hunter Norzard, the centre, in the fifth round, cornerback Kamal Haddon in the sixth round, and CJ Hansen, the guard, in the seventh round. So, Brad, for you, overall, your take on your team's off-season?
It's pretty much the same old, really. I think Brett Veach has been doing his usual, bargain basement kind of finds here and there that he grabs in the draft, and obviously picks up the odd wide receiver now and again that's probably starting to become a journeyman. It's very much the same with Brett Veach this year. I don't know how he does it. I really don't know how he does it. I mean, we saw obviously how the Chiefs played last year, and and that spluttering offense that they had. But he seemed to have found some real kind of golden nuggets out of the defensive side of the ball. And you touched on obviously Snead. He's going to be a big miss. He's going to be a very big miss because he was very much the key person in that defense that was always dialed up in either the blitz or he was, set back in secondary or whatever. He was always moving around the field. So a lot of the time, the offensive coordinators of other teams had to account for that. Where is Snead? What is he up to? What's coming next? So it kind of held a little bit of mystery with the Chiefs defense. And without Snead, we need to find somebody who is going to be that mystery man. Is it going to be McDuffie? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, the ins and outs, it's not something that you would expect, the Chiefs to do right now. They never go out for a star player or anything like that right now, or throw money at a big wide receiver or a big cornerback or, another big kind of named player out there. They very much cut the cloth accordingly, and they make sure that they are rewarding the guys that have obviously got them to the top of the mountain. But every now and again, there has to be a sacrifice. And I think Snead is obviously one of those sacrifices at the minute, which, he was a fan favorite, massive fan favorite with Snead. And it's funny because a lot of the Chiefs fans have looked at, commented on his social media and said to him that, they're really, rooting for him at the Titans. Really looking forward to seeing him play and stuff. And, it was nice that he's left on those terms and he's got the money that he wanted as well. So very much in accordance with the players' wishes. But, obviously the Chiefs are obviously going to try and find some life after that. But the ins and outs, I've been okay with them. I mean, I like the fact we got Marquise Brown. I know he's obviously going to miss a few games at the start of the season because he got an injury in training recently, but it doesn't sound too serious. It's just mainly more of a precautionary recovery time for him on that. I think it was similar to what Tyreek Hill had actually when he was with us a few years ago. But I'm sure he'll be back firing on all cylinders again. And Reece Sammet. Louis Reece Sammet has been very much the talk of the Chiefs fan base recently because we're obviously excited being UK Chiefs fans, finding out that we've got a guy to call our own over there representing obviously the UK. Sorry, Wales. Gotta say Wales.
Right answer.
Gotta say Wales. It can't say UK without saying it's actually Welsh.
Yeah.
But it's good that we've got somebody like that he's learning the game, but he's understood how to perform at that high level, especially when he obviously in his rugby union days. And it's good to have that guy. So he's got that in his arsenal already, but obviously he's understanding an entirely new sport. And he seems to be doing okay. He had a few handoffs and stuff during the game in the first preseason game, which was good. There's a lot to work on though. There's a lot of things and he understands that as well though. He's obviously that professional and he understands he's got a lot of things to work on. But I'm sure we can get into that further into the show. But other than that, there's no big surprises in the way Veach has handled this in and outs this off season really.
Yeah, again, not really many major ins and outs. I think Snead's the obvious one, as you mentioned, but really, there's no. You've still got Reed, you've still got Spagnuolo, you've still got Mahomes, you've still got Kelsey, still got Pacheco when he's back from suspension. You've still got Rashee Rice, and it's a defense that was really the star of the show last year, and it really goes down to Spagnuolo and what a defense he's produced. I mean, you look about the players you've got Chris Jones, you've got George Karlaftis, you've got Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, and then Joshua Williams is presumably the guy to come in to replace the L'Jarius Sneed. But does that almost give you confidence that even with losing Sneed, you've still got Spags, you've still got one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire league, that he can just, as you said before, find something out of nothing with some gems.
Yeah, I mean, it is very much that. I mean, the corner situation has always been similar with the Chiefs for a lot of years now. I remember talking about the cornerback situation. I think even when we traded away Marcus Peters at the time, and I was really worried about the cornerback situation there because we didn't have anybody there that we felt was going to be the next man up. We didn't feel as though there was any big name players in there that we were throwing money at, that kind of thing. And it's strange. We've almost kind of come accustomed to the fact that, we don't have these megastar cornerbacks. We do rely on the defensive line getting home. That's where the money's been going to for the Chiefs over a lot of the years. Obviously, Chris Jones is the key there. He is very much the guy that leads the charge, and we've got, like you said, George Karlaftis there, who we've got very good value out of him now. On the left side of the defensive end, he's learned his trade so well, and he's eager to learn more. And he's coming on so well recently that he's applying a lot of that pressure. And we've brought in players that have helped in that. I mean, obviously Charles Omenihu was one of those players as well that we were all excited about to get him, into the pass rush. And he's learning a lot, is George Karlaftis, from a lot of these players. And it's good to see that the defensive line is actually solid. I mean, we brought back Mike Dana recently as well. I think we got him on another year deal, I think it is. So, it's keeping that unit or keeping that defensive line happy, keeping it functional, keeping it, getting home to the quarterback, and just letting the secondary after that just deal with whatever happens after it. And I think that's been the policy from Brett Veach for a lot of years now, that don't overpay on the cornerbacks, and just throw everything at the defensive line.
Yeah, and it certainly worked. I mean, how good it's been. Like I said before, like last year especially, it really helped to a lot of games. You think about Snead and his touchdown saving, taking the ball off the Flowers. There was that play, and the game against us, your defense really just showed our offense a new one. And against the Bills, bit more of a less defensive sort of masterclass. But you think about how you sort of fended off the Niners offense to a certain extent as well in the Super Bowl. Yes, really, really good defense. I think that should, I can't see the offense again struggling, but if it did, I have no doubt that from your point of view that the Chiefs are going to go out and win games almost on defense alone in some games. But I think that I think as long as you've got someone like Spags, again, the confidence must be just sky high. But flicking to the offense, now we also know the situation with Rashee Rice. We don't know as of yet, who's going to be, what's going to happen to him, what kind of suspension we're looking at, whether it's going to be a few games, half a year. We just don't know what we're looking at in terms of suspensions yet. And just want to ask you about sort of the rest of your sort of the team in terms of, we all know that Kelsey's the main guy Mahomes throws to, and you all know that Mahomes can make sort of any receiver play well, even if they're sort of, think like Kadarius Toney having that play in the Super Bowl, or and can't think of the guy was that made a play as well that done nothing before that. And you think about now in terms of the offense you've got, obviously Pacheco as well. So you've got Pacheco as a running back. You've got Rashee Rice, Marquise Brown, Xavier Worthy, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. Mm-hmm. Who are you seeing if Rashee Rice does miss, let's say, 6 games or more? Who do you reckon will be the main guy stat-wise outside of Kelsey for the Chiefs this season?
Well, it's a good one because, I mean, obviously we picked up Xavier Worthy. He's our wide receiver from the first round, I think it was this year. And, I've been pleasantly surprised with him. I mean, obviously he's the fastest guy that has ever run the 40 time, which he's the guy that, for some reason, the Bills let him go to us again. the Bills like giving us these good players. So, we've got Xavier Worthy, and we took a punt on him, and he seems to be doing quite well in training camp from what we've seen. I mean, separation-wise, obviously he's got it. But, we've seen some really good highlight players there. Now, that's the person you expect me to talk about and praise a lot about. But there's a couple of players in the wide receiver room that I am quite excited about. And there's one in particular, which is Nico Remigio, who A lot of Chiefs fans like him, and I think he got injured last year, so he didn't really get much time on the actual team. But Remigio is he's a feisty little player, and I don't want to give too much away about him because if he does burst onto the scene, it would be good to suddenly see the reaction of obviously a lot of fan bases going, "Who is this Remigio guy?" But he's a sneaky one. But also you got to remember we've got Justin Ross, who we stashed last year. And Justin Ross was one of those players that I think he had a really bad injury or something that he was getting fixed. And obviously we stashed him on the practice squad for quite some time. And he's made some real highlight catches recently in Chiefs camp. A couple of toe taps in there as well in the end zone, that kind of thing. So a lot of people are starting to get on the Justin Ross hype train a little bit more. And with the fact that we might have Rashee Rice out, I don't know if it's going to be early in the season. It might be a mid-season thing by the time that the NFL gets around to it. But, if we do lose Rashee Rice, I expect somebody like Justin Ross or even Nico Remigio to actually just kind of fill in there and almost get their opportunity to burst on the scene. I think Xavier Worthy is going to be a good one. I think the thing is, though, I think a lot of defenses are probably going to keep an eye on him because he is very quick. He is Tyreek Hill level quick. And we all saw a lot of defensive coordinators almost keep an eye on Tyreek Hill when he was at the Chiefs, when Mahomes was just literally just lobbing long ones to him all the time. And it might be one of those situations where if we don't have Rice there and we don't have Marquise Brown there, Xavier Worthy's pretty much our only main guy on the team, who's the wide receiver, who was obviously selected in the first round. He's probably going to be the one that's targeted quite a bit. Obviously, you've got Travis Kelce in there as well to contend with, but he's getting to the point where he's probably going to be slowing down, maybe losing a little bit of a step. So I think a lot of the concentration is probably going to be on Xavier Worthy, but that should give a lot of these players like Justin Ross and Remigio a chance. The other player that we have is obviously Sky Moore. He's struggled quite a bit since the Chiefs picked him up. Sky Moore is, he got a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which was fantastic, and he got his rings. But he's not one of those players that we're looking at the next level. And then we've got Kadarius Toney, who we all know about his problems and his drops that he's had over the past couple of seasons. I'm not convinced in Kadarius Toney. I think the project is done for me. He might change my mind this year, but from what I've been seeing in Chiefs camp, they've actually been using him more in the running game. So it might be that they might use him more of a running kind of receiver in this in this team. A bit similar to how the Chiefs used to use Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles used to break through lines, and his cuts and runs were amazing. But they used him in the pass a lot, and maybe that's what they're trying to look at Kadarius Toney, where they've got a bit more of a running back flex for him, where he can get into the backfield as well, and obviously catch passes. Hopefully, he can catch passes this time. But again, not massive big name players as we come accustomed to even from last year. We didn't have the big name wide receivers. Obviously, we've lost MVS, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And apparently he's not been having a good time in his new team either. So, wide receiver's always been a bit of a tricky one for the Chiefs. But like you said, we've got a top guy firing the bullets. And we've got Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league, also backing all of that up as well. So I want to see a lot more from the offense this year. A lot more from the offense, because it was coughing and spluttering a lot last year. We had the odd 2 or 3 games where it suddenly sparked into life, but they weren't against the great teams. So little less reliance on the defense, a lot more reliance on the offense a bit this time, I think, for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think bang on the head there. I mean, the only thing I'll say about Xavier Worthy is the fact that I'm looking now at the top 40-yard dash times. You've got Xavier Worthy number 1, and it's John Ross, Kalen Barnes, Rondell Menendez, Chris Johnson, Jerome Mathis, Dwight Archer, Tariq Woolen, DJ Turner, some of the top ones. And think for me, apart from Chris Johnson, I can't think of any stars there. Tariq Woolen's probably one. He's been good, but so I think obviously I've seen that one clip in training camp and the one that was open to fans. And I saw that one touchdown pass to Mahomes from Mahomes to Worthing. It looked good, but I think some people do take, not yourself, but some fans do take the 40-yard dash as gospel, and that is the be all and end all someone's draft position. But really, I think that list there, if John Ross had the record for so many years and how his NFL career turned out, I think that should be proof that it's not just speed, it's also, Tyreek Hill, I thought he was a speed merchant at the Chiefs. Then they came to saw him play more at the Dolphins, and I realised just how good he was at catching the ball and everything else and route running. So, yeah, I think you've got to have speed, obviously, but I think it's not, that just shows that it's not the be-all and end-all if you want to be an NFL player. But we will head to our final segment, which is going to be our win-loss-tie section. So for those of you who have not heard this podcast before, each fan who comes on predicts their team's records by going through each game and answering with a win-loss-tie answer. Now, Brad, you came on last year. The Chiefs went 11-6. Do you by chance remember what your record prediction was a year ago?
I think, must have been 14 wins, I think. Did I have it as 14 wins?
12. It was 12 and 5, your prediction. So
was it?
Only one off. Only one off. That's something. You see, we had Rams fan on, Sam Andrews, on a few days ago, and he predicted 6 wins to the Rams, and they had obviously 10 wins. And other fan bases, that Chargers fan Lee predicted a really good season for them, and that didn't work out the way he wanted to. So, yeah, I think there's we get some quite wayward ones, but you also get some quite close ones, and you're definitely one of the closer predictions we had last season.
Right, cool.
So week 1 is, of course, the season opener. Of course, you are the reigning champions. The usual tradition, you are opening the season on Thursday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. Brad, win, loss, or tie?
Well, hopefully, if all things go well, I'll actually be at this game, so I'm hoping for a win.
Okay. Wow.
I've never seen a banner ceremony for my team before, so I thought, you know what, I'll book up and go. But I'm still waiting on my Esther to come through from the US, so it's getting close.
How long has it been since you've ordered it?
It's on pending at the minute. I think I'm on the 12th day, which is normally very, very long because normally I've had them like within an hour, and they've come through approved. So I don't know what they're looking at, but yeah, please approve it soon. But no, I'll go for a Chiefs win on this one. I think everybody will be high on the obviously the Super Bowl, banner drop and everything like that. I think hopefully the Chiefs will just pick up where they left off. So, but the Ravens, I think they'll be looking for revenge. So it might be a bit of a close game, this one.
So that's crazy because when I went to America last year, I rearranged a trip to Vegas, LA, and San Fran from 2020, and I went there last September. And I remember, Ryan checked us in with our Esther's details, and mine was coming through. And I was thinking, why is mine not coming through? And I realised that I've not actually renewed my Esther. So I realised it the night before our flight. I realised this as well. So I got mine literally 4 a.m. the next morning. I was in a mad panic, thinking I have to wait, I have to come back in a few days, I have to get a different flight. And mine came within 3 or 4 hours of me organising. So I don't know why yours is doing that. I'm not too sure, but
no idea.
You've got just a couple of weeks, really. September the 5th. That's going to be 25 days from now, 26 days. So
fly out on the 3rd, I think. So yeah.
Well, I got a feeling I might have to renew my Esther. For some reason, I only got it last year. I've got a feeling they've changed it to 12 monthly. I could be wrong. For some reason, my Esther is saying it expires this year, despite me only having it last year.
Right.
So, and obviously, I go to Miami in the last week of October. So I'm hoping that goes through. I might have to do that tonight, actually, after this podcast recording.
Yeah, do it. Because I think somebody said that I think June and August are the longest months, or difficult months to actually get them through, because it's popular seasons or something. So yeah, get them in soon.
Yeah, because I'm hoping that we're going late October. By the time the summer rush ends, it'll be absolutely fine. Because mine came through last time within 4 hours or 5 hours, and this was late September. So I'm hoping that, or I think it might be actually start of September. But yeah, hopefully it comes quick. So I'll have to do that, after the Zoom call today or StreamYard call. I'll have to get onto that straight away. Week 2 is against what is my favourite rivalry in the NFL at the moment, the Cincinnati Bengals at home, win, loss or tie.
I think the Chiefs lose this one. I think the Bengals seem to have our number in the season. It's obviously the Joe Burrow effect, and I think Jamar Chase is one of those players that just wants to get one over on the Chiefs as many times as possible. So I think they'll ball out in this one. I think the Chiefs will lose it.
So week 3 is your first road game of the season. You're taking on the Atlanta Falcons.
I think that's going to be an easy win for us, I think. Sunday night football as well, which is always a good one. Mahomes likes to shine in the big games, so Sunday night football is very much his time.
Okay, and then week 4 is your first division game of the season. You're on the road to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, again, I mentioned Jim Harbaugh coming into this, and it'd be interesting to see how well he set up the Chargers this time. Because obviously they've not been particularly great over the last few seasons. They might be a tough opponent on this one, but I think the Chiefs will edge it, and they'll set the standard basically in the AFC West.
Okay, so then week 5 before your week 6 bye is a home game against the Saints.
Yeah, Monday Night Football again. It's another time for Mahomes to shine. So I've got the Chiefs winning that one again.
So, after your week 6 bye, it's a game that we talked about on the 49ers podcast with Paul Hope, a game you'll be watching with a bunch of 49ers fans, with the Chiefs fans, on the road to the Niners.
Yeah, we've got a watch meet, a rival watch meet happening in Newcastle, which is it's going to be fantastic. And I know the 49ers fans, especially the UK fans, the UK faithful are brilliant. They really travel well. So I'm expecting them to outnumber us quite a bit. I'm not going to lie. But I also fear this game as well, actually, because I think the 49ers are really looking for revenge. And they're just going to be gunning for this Chiefs team. And I think the 49ers are going to be devastating this year. So I think the Chiefs are actually going to lose this, and I'm going to eat some humble pie, I think, at the watch meet.
Fair enough. That should be a good occasion.
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Yeah. So week 8, you're staying on the road, staying in the West Coast, as you take on the Las Vegas Raiders, of course, where you won the Super Bowl just a few months ago.
Yeah, Chiefs are undefeated in the Raiders Stadium, the new stadium. So I think they'll keep that continued, that tradition going. So I think it'll still be a close game. I think obviously with the Raiders beating us on Christmas Day, we did take them a bit lightly. I think that's what I felt this team did anyway. And plus with the Chiefs offense not firing as well as they were on all season, basically, I think we might see a different Chiefs offense this year. So I'm hoping and praying that we actually beat the Raiders again this time.
So then week 9, you are taking on at home the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an easy win. Monday Night Football again. So yeah, Chiefs win on that one.
Then week 10 is another AFC West game, this time against the Denver Broncos at home.
Yes, Broncos, again, they've not quite caught up with the Chiefs at the minute. I don't think they will this year either. Chiefs win.
Fair enough, yeah. I think they'll be one of the worst teams in the whole league. So that's a very easy prediction to make.
Yeah.
Week 11 should be interesting. You're on the road with Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills, yeah. Again, another tough opponent, especially during the season. I mean, Josh Allen through the season is devastating. So I think the Chiefs will actually lose this one as well.
Okay. So that means you go into week 12 at 7-3 as you take on the Carolina Panthers on the road.
Yeah, so on the road, we might be feeling it a little bit after the Bills game, but I think the Chiefs should win this. But I think the Panthers, they're one of those up-and-coming teams, I think, this time. So I'll go for a sneaky win for the Chiefs on this one.
Okay, so then week 13 is a home game against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders might get one over on us. I don't know. I think what they've got at the minute with their new head coach, I think he does instill that belief into them, and he does believe that they can go toe to toe with them. So it might be They might get a win on this one, I think. I hate to say it, but I think they might actually just pip us at this one. Close games against the Raiders, they normally are.
Yeah, and obviously last year's proved that they can beat you.
Yeah.
Might be Mahomes' worst ever career game that day last year on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So week 14, you're staying at home, this time against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, that's a Sunday night football game as well. We're getting a load of these this year, aren't we? So I'm going to go with Chiefs again against the Chargers. I do appreciate Jim Harbaugh is their head coach, but I think he's got at least a season to kind of get his team right. And I think there'll be ones to watch next season. But right now, I think he's got quite an uphill climb to do. So I think the Chiefs will win this one.
So week 15, you take on the road the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think that's a Chiefs win. I'm not going to say any more about that.
Week 16, you take on at home the Houston Texans in what is your final home game of the regular season.
Yes, it is. And it's going to be quite a difficult one because they've got a sneaky young quarterback that seems to be doing the rounds recently. So he's got a lot to prove. The Chiefs, I don't know. This might be one of those games that we're expected to win, but we'll lose. So I'm going to have the Chiefs loss on this one.
Okay. That's I didn't expect that, to be honest. I was expecting a win there.
There's always one game. There's always one game that we trip up on, and I think that'll be the one. And I think there'll be a lot of talk about the Texans being the next team to rival the Chiefs. That'll be the next thing. There'll be a lot of comparisons between quarterbacks there.
Yeah, I think Stroud is definitely shown so far he is the real deal, and I think he is going to, I think, once again be even better. I think this season. Week 17, Christmas Day, 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, is a road game against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I hope it's not another repeat of the Christmas Day shenanigans we had last year. But no, I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Steelers on this one. I think it'll be quite comfortable as well.
Okay, so that means you're going to go 11-5 going into your final game, which is going to be on the road to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, win for the Chiefs.
Okay, so that means you finished 12-5, which is the exact same prediction you made last year as well.
Brilliant. As long as it gets us in the playoffs, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean that would, and that is the most insane AFC conference ever. I remember one year I think the Patriots missed out with 11-6 or 11-5, but normally most years 12-5 does get you in. So I think that will get you in the playoffs. Most likely a division winner. Don't know whether that'd be number 1 seed or 2 or 3. But if you get to the playoffs with that record, how far are you going in the postseason?
Ooh, I'd like to say all the way, I really would, but obviously it depends on how the chips fall. But I think the Chiefs proved that they've got the guts to actually go through a difficult postseason run as they did last year. I mean, it's probably one of the most difficult runs in postseason in NFL history that they've gone through. So will it be any harder than that? I hope not, because I think looking at the season, that's been a difficult season because we've obviously got a week 6 bye week, which very early for the Chiefs. I can't remember the last time we had such an early bye week, and then obviously trying to put a run together towards the end of the season, and injuries could be one of the stumbling blocks that we might have there. So tiredness and injuries might play a part in the obviously preparing for the playoffs. But I'd like to think that we have the leadership, we have the team, we have the players to actually go on and actually win the three-peat. It's going to be difficult, though. It is going to be seriously difficult, and that target is getting ever bigger on our backs as well. So I'd like to go Super Bowl or bust on this one. I think that's what everybody's talking about. Go for the three-peat. Do what it takes, and just throw everything in, including the kitchen sink at it, and hope for the best, basically.
Yeah, I think if there's any fan base that's going to say the team's going to win it all, it's got to be you. So, yeah, fantastic. And I think you are our 5th fan who's come on and said the team's going to win the Super Bowl. We had the Niners, the Bills, the Lions. And there was one more, and I forgot who it is. It's another fourth team. So yeah, you're the 15 now. So yeah, I think I expect that from you. I expected you to say you'd win it all, because that is what we've seen 3 of the last 4 or 5 seasons. So yeah, it's completely understandable. But that is where we will end the podcast for today. So once again, huge thanks to Brad for coming on.
No problem at all. Anytime. I always enjoy these podcasts and listen to the fans as well. So it's good. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all, and we'll definitely get you on throughout the season, as for sure. We'll talk all things Chief at that time as well. But this has been our Across the Pod NFL podcast, Kansas City Chiefs season preview, with myself, your host, Andy Davis, our Chiefs fan, Brad Symcox, and we'll see you guys for our next team season preview. See you then.